Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. So this is going to be the next chapter, that is about the Mauryan age. We are going to do the MCQs regarding this chapter, but first of all let me give you a bit idea and summary about the chapter. Now the chapters prior to Mauryan age, from prehistoric age, from Indus Valley civilization and etc., these all have been covered already in the playlist section. So you can visit the playlist section, the link to which will be given in the description of this video. So let us start about the Mauryan age. Now first of all, what are the sources through which we get the information about the Mauryan age? So there are primarily two resources. One is written by Kautilya and the second is written by Megasthenes. Now Megasthenes wrote Indica, which gives an idea about the administration during the Mauryan Empire, and Kautilya wrote the Arthashastra. Now, next is about the archaeological sources. So, the idea of Mauryan age we can also get from the archaeological archaeological sources. The first of which was deciphered by James Prinsep. It was deciphered by James Prinsep in the year 1837. Now, what was the script that was used in the archaeological sources? So, it was the Prakrit script. Now, this Prakrit was known as the language of common people. Okay. Now, in the Ashoka's inscription, other languages such as Aramaic, Kharosthi, Greek, these was also used in the Ashokan inscription. Okay. Now, next is about the origin of Mauryas. The Mauryas are believed in the Puranas. It is written that the Mauryas earlier were the Shudras. Okay. Now, the most famous ruler of the Mauryan Empire was definitely Chandragupta Maurya. He was Chandragupta Maurya. Also, Megasthenes visited during his reign and also wrote about the administration during his era. Now, Chandragupta Maurya was the first ruler. In description, we will cover in the question. I am just giving you the summary. So, after Chandragupta Maurya, there was Bindusar. Now, he succeeded Chandragupta Maurya. Now, the Greeks called Bindusara as Amitrocats. Okay, so this word you can remember. Next famous ruler was Ashoka. Now, Ashoka was also known in his inscription as Devanam Priyadasi, that is beloved of God. Now, this Devanam Priyadasi was mentioned in the Gujarat inscription. Other than that, Raja Ashoka as a Raja was mentioned in the Nettur rock edict. Other than that, Priyadasi was mentioned in the Bhabru rock inscription. Other than that, Priyadasi was also there in the Kandahar rock edict. Okay. Now, Ashokas also propagated the idea of Dhamma, and it was after the Kalinga war that the policy of annexation was completely divided by the modern people. Now, next in the line was the provincial administration. There were particularly five provincial administration and capital. The Uttarpath capital was Takshashila. The Avanti Rashtra capital was Ujjain. And then the Prachi province capital was Patliputra. And then Kalinga capital was Toshali. And Dakshinapath was Suvarnagiri. Now, this is the idea about the summary of this chapter. Now, let's straight away move to the questions of this chapter, through which we are going to cover the other facts. Now, the first empire which was established by a ruler in India, obviously it was Chandragupta Maurya. Now, Chandragupta Maurya defeated Dhananand of Nand Empire, and the empire of Chandragupta Maurya reigned from the parts of today's Bihar as well as parts of Odisha, as well as the parts of Bengal, the Western India, and the parts of northwestern India, and some part of the Deccan was also under the control of Chandragupta Maurya. So this is the exclusive information. So the correct answer to this question is the Chandragupta Maurya. Now the additional information that I have mentioned, this also you need to know in order to carefully execute the questions of this chapter. Next is about, the next question is, which among the following territory not became a part of Mauryan Empire after the failed invasion of Seleucus Nicator? Okay, now as we know that the Mauryan Empire and Seleucus Nicator, a war broke out between these two. Now the Seleucus Nicator, if I talk about Seleucus Nicator, he was the general of Alexander. Now, after the retreat of Alexander from the parts of Asia, it was the Seleucus Nicator who was in the charge of the territories encompassing modern day Afghanistan, Iran, and Iraq. Now, this Seleucus Nicator was defeated by the Chandragupta Maurya. Okay, this is a very important point. Seleucus Nicator was defeated by Chandragupta Maurya, and Chandragupta Maurya gained the control of the ancient cities of Arya, Arachosia, and Prapomisdae. These were the locations which are situated in the present day Afghanistan and Pakistan. Okay, now the question is asking about which of the following territory did not become part of Mauryan Empire. So it was Alexandria. Okay, Alexandria was a city which was founded by Greek emperor Alexander in Egypt. So Egypt region, this Alexandria was, that is why it was not a part of the area that was acquired by Chandragupta Maurya. In addition to that, these three areas were in the modern day Afghanistan and Pakistan. So I hope this question is clear now. Let's now move to the next question. Now this is, the success of Mauryan Empire lies in the backdrop of spread of material culture from Gangetic Valley to the other regions of the subcontinent. Which among the following factors were responsible for the prosperity of Mauryan Empire? Now first one is the intensive use of iron. Yes, as in the Vedic age we have seen that an extensive use of iron was there. So iron was developed further. So this iron was used to clear forest, as the area of Mauryan Empire in the modern day northern part of India was filled with forest because it lied on the middle Ganga plain. That is why iron and its implement were used for clearing the forest. The large scale of use of punch marked coins. Yes, these punch marked coins were the silver coins that were mostly in use. So this is also correct. Next is introduction of burnt brick and ring wells. Also, these burnt bricks were used from the time of Indus Valley civilization. So this is also correct. Now the next point is about the extensive trade with the Roman Empire. Now this is not right. Okay, because there was no extensive trade with the Roman Empire. That is why the three option we will eliminate, and ultimately we will come to the answer, that is the 1, 2 and 3 is the correct answer. Okay, let's now move to the next question, that is question number 4. Now this says, with reference to the Chandragupta Maurya, which of the following statement is or are correct? Next is, he liberated the northwestern India from the Greek rule by the defeating Darius II. Now I already told you that Chandragupta Maurya defeated Seleucus Nicator. Okay, who was in charge of the area which was left by Alexander. Okay, so Chandragupta Maurya defeated Seleucus Nicator, not Darius II. So this is wrong. The first one is wrong. Let's see the other thing, that is, under his reign Pataliputra was the capital of Mauryan Empire. Absolutely, the second statement is true. So only 2 will be correct. First one is wrong. Let's now move to the next question. Now consider the following statement with reference to the ancient text Indica. Now it was written by Greek ambassador Megasthenes at the court of Chandragupta Maurya. Now I already told you that this is absolutely correct. We have to mention here the incorrect statement. Now it was translated into Latin by Roman scholar Justin in the 2nd century AD. Now this is wrong. Why this is wrong? Because it was not translated into Latin. Okay, it was translated into Greek. Okay, Greek writers have translated it, not Latin. So if we the question is asked about incorrect statement, so only the second statement here is incorrect. Let's now come to the next question, that is, with reference to the Mauryan Emperor Chandragupta Maurya, which of the following statement is correct? During the last phase of his reign, he converted to Jainism. So this is an absolutely correct fact that he converted into Jainism during his last phase of life. Okay. Next is he spent his last year of his life in Vallavi, Gujarat as an Jaina ascetic. Now this is incorrect. Okay. He was not in Vallavi, but he spent the last days of his life in Karnataka, not Gujarat. So we have to tell here the correct statement. So the correct statement here is only 2. Sorry, the correct statement here is only 1. The second one is incorrect, as he spent the last days in Karnataka. So only 1 is the correct statement. Next is about Bindusar, the ruler which came after Chandragupta Maurya. Consider the following statement with reference to the reign of Bindusar. Now he discontinued the diplomatic link established between the Mauryan and the Greek Empire. The next is he conquered the ancient kingdom of South India and made them part of the Mauryan Empire. Absolutely, both of the statement given here is incorrect. Why it is incorrect? Because, see, first of all, let me give you a brief idea about Bindusar. So Bindusar was the son of Chandragupta Maurya. Okay, and he succeeded the Mauryan Empire after the Chandragupta Maurya. Now he continued the diplomatic link between Mauryan and Greek because there were diplomatic ties between Chandragupta Maurya and the Greek ruler. So he did not discontinue, but he continued to establish a diplomatic ties. Next is the ancient kingdom of South India that is mentioned here. They were not a part of the Mauryan Empire. Although the Southern India Empire they accepted the sovereignty. Okay, these accepted the sovereignty of the people, but they accepted the sovereignty of the Mauryan Empire, but they were not officially part of the Mauryan Empire. Okay, the last extent of the Mauryan Empire extended as far as the today's Mysore, which is in Karnataka, not the regions of South India. So both of the given statement here are absolutely incorrect. Okay, let's now move to the next question. Consider the following statement. Now we have to tell about the ruler. He was the first ruler of ancient India who tried to take his messages to the people through inscriptions. Now, which ruler had its own inscription and various inscriptions? Obviously, Ashoka. So, as we will read the first point, we will correctly mark the answer. Now, he was also the only king in the world to give up the conquest after winning a war. This in the summary part I have already told. After the Kalinga war and after seeing the bloodshed that a war causes, he officially gave up the idea of conquest. Next is he was converted to Buddhism only after major war in which he participated. Absolutely, this is also correct. So, which was that war? So, this was the Kalinga war. After Kalinga war, he became a Buddhist. So, Ashoka is the correct answer. Let's now move to the next question. Now, you can study this question. If you want to answer this, you can just pause this video and try the question on your own. Now, which among the following rulers of ancient India is credited for bounding the whole country with one dharma, one language, and one script? Obviously, I told you about Ashoka. Now, Ashoka, the policy of Dhamma was very much affluent during his time. He followed the policy of Dhamma, which is also known as Dharma, and had an paternalistic outlook. I also told you about the title that he took, Devanam Priyadarshi, मतलब देवों का प्यारा, ठीक है? So these was the idea behind taking the name. So Ashoka is the correct answer. Next is, after seeing the massacre and displacement of people in Kalinga War, Ashoka changed his policy of Bhedi Ghosh with Dhammakosh. It means he abandoned the policy of physical occupation in favor of policy of spiritual context. Obviously, this one is the correct answer. Okay, A is the correct answer. Now next is the name by which Ashoka is referred to his inscription is Devanam Priya Dasi. This I already told you. It was the Devanam Priya Dasi, the name that he took. Okay. Many of the inscriptions that are found in Karnataka and one at Madhya Pradesh. Which one? Gujara inscription, which is found in Madhya Pradesh, also says this. Next is consider the following statement with reference to the impact of Kalinga War on Ashoka. He made an ideological appeal towards the tribal people and the frontier kingdom to follow the principle of Dhamma. Now we have to mention here the incorrect statement. So the statement absolutely appears to be true. One is correct, so we'll ultimately eliminate all of the other options. So 2 and 3 would be the correct answer. But let us analyze these statements. He disbanded the huge army maintained from the time of Chandragupta Maurya. No. The statement is absolutely incorrect. Why? Because he did not abandon his army. He always maintained his army. Now he allowed the Kalinga to remain as an independent territory. No. Kalinga rather became a part of the empire, Mauryan Empire. So it was not left to be an independent territory. So 2 and 3 here are the incorrect options. Let's now move to the next question, that is, who of the following has first deciphered the edicts of Ashoka? Now, which person did it? It was James Prinsep. Okay. Now, James Prinsep earlier was an employee of the East India Company and was associated with the Asiatic Society of Bengal. Now, if you have studied well, you will know that Asiatic Society of Bengal was founded by William Jones. Okay. Now this name you need to remember. ये question आता है exam में. Now he was the first one to decipher it. Next is, which among the following inscriptions speaks about the success of the Ashoka Dhamma policy with hunter and fishermen who gave up killing animal and possibly took a settled agricultural life. Now I already told you this. In the Kalinga inscription, it was written that Ashoka adopted the policy of Dhamma. ठीक है. Now the description about the hunters and fishermen who gave up the killing and animal sacrifice, this is mentioned in the Kandhar inscription. Okay, the success of the Dhamma is mentioned in the Kandhar inscription. So this question you can, if you didn't know about this, so you can write it down in your notes. This is very, very important. The question can be asked from this. Okay, let's now move to the next question, that is, the finely polished stone sculpture of bull, which has now been placed in the Rashtrapati Bhavan, has been taken from. So the famous bull inscription, if you have studied history, you will know that it was brought from Rampurva. Okay, it was brought from the Rampurva. Now where is this Rampurva? Now for the people preparing for the BPSC examination, you need to know it is in the West Champaran district of Bihar. Other than that, it is one of the 7 remaining animal capitals from the pillars of Ashoka, and this Rampurva bull has a strong influence of Greek as well as Persian as well as the Indian art. I hope you have understood this. Let's now move to the next question, which is Ashoka, in which of the following edicts had showed concern about the oppression in provinces and asked the Mahamatras not to torture townsmen without the due cause. Now these particular information that is given in the various inscription is very much important. Now this is exclusively mentioned in the Kalinga edict, okay, in which he has given a brief account of that. I hope you have solved this question successfully. Let us now move to the next question. The account of Kalinga War is known to us by. Now it was the. Now you can just solve. You can just pause this video and try this question if you want. Now this was mentioned in the 13th major inscription. Okay. Now this inscription was written in the Kharosthi script. This was written in the Kharosthi script and it was discovered from the Shahbaz Gari area of the present day Pakistan. Okay, so it is the correct answer. Next question, you can try this question on your own if you want. I'm just giving you a time of 3 to 4 seconds. Now, which among the following pillar inscription of Ashoka states that the land revenue rates of Lumbini was reduced to 1/8? Now, which was this inscription? It was the Rummidei pillar inscription. Now, Lumbini is the birthplace of Gautam Buddha. And in order to celebrate the birth of Gautam Buddha, the land revenue rate was reduced to 1/8. So it is the Rummidei pillar inscription, and it is present in present day Nepal. Let's now move to the next question, that is with reference to the modern administration, who were the Tirthas? This question is about the Tirthas. Now, I hope you have tried this question. So the correct answer is they were the important officials. Mostly they were paid in cash. The highest functionaries were the mantrins. These mantrins were the ministers. Then there were the purohitas, which were the priests. Then there was Senapati, which was also known as commander in chief. And then there was Yuvraj also. Yuvraj was the crown prince. And they were paid in Pana. Pana was a silver coin. It was a silver coin. Let's now move to the next question. Now, the Emperor Ashoka appointed the official Dhamma Mahamantras for. Now, these were the Dhamma Mahamantras were for propagating Dharma among the various social groups. So, C is going to be the correct answer to this question. Let's now move to the next question, that is question number 21. Now, during the reign of which of the following Mauryan rulers the citizen of Taxila complained against the misrule of bureaucrats? Now, it was during the reign of Bindusar. Okay. Now, the bureaucrats during that time were known as Dushta Matyas. These were known as the Dushta Matyas. Now, they were the grievance redressal officer, but they were indulged in the misrule. That is why it was the during the tenure of Bindusar. Let's now move to the next question. Now, you can just pause this video and try this question on your own. Now, this question is with reference to the welfare policy undertaken by Ashoka. Which of the following statement is correct? He taught people to live and let live and emphasized compassion towards animal. This is the first statement, which is absolutely true. Next is he arranged for medical facilities for both human and animals. Absolutely correct. He prohibited the practice of sati. Now, there was no evidence of sati during that time. Okay, so if there was no evidence, how can be there? How can he prohibit the practice of sati? Because there was no evidence of sati during that time. So the third one we will eliminate. So 1 and 2 will automatically become the answer to this question. Okay. Next is, you can just pause this question and try this question on your own. Which of the following South Kingdom is not mentioned in the Ashokan inscription? Now it is the kingdom of the Satavahanas. It is not mentioned in the Ashokan inscription. Now this kingdom emerged, Satvahana kingdom emerged in the Deccan area in the peninsular region, and Rock Edict 2 and Rock Edict 13th mention that the Cholas, Cheras, Pandyas, Satyaputras, they lived on the border of the Mauryan states. Okay, so there is no mention of Satvahana kingdom. Let's see the next question. Now this is the characteristics feature of the Mauryan pottery was It was also known as the North Black Polished Ware. Okay, so B is the correct answer to this question. Now with this, we have finished the questions of this chapter. I hope if you have revised the Mauryan chapter, this video will be a great help for you. Now, if you like this video, do give this video a like, comment on the video, and your valuable suggestions are always welcome. And do subscribe the channel if you haven't. Till then, keep studying and thank you for watching.